Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and if you're listening to this to go to bed, good night. Welcome back to the So Smooth Podcast. I am your host, May So Smooth. You know the deal, you know what it is. Never the one, never the last. You feel me? Welcome back, y'all. This is episode 5. You know, everybody loves a little even number every now and then. Uh, Episode 5 of the podcast. It's crazy. It's kind of weird to think that it's already been 5 weeks, like since it came out, because I record like I record a lot of stuff ahead. So now it's like when I record this is like probably one of my more recent episodes. And today's a little bit different. We actually doing a Q&A. I asked some people on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, it's at MaySoSmooth. The same thing as my uh, title, pod, like host title, whatever. Anyway, I asked people on my Instagram to ask me questions about what they want to hear my perspective on. So episode 5 is just gonna be a Q&A, and I'm thankful because I didn't have anything to talk about this week. So I was thankful for that. But y'all know the deal. First off, first come, first serve. We about to do the verse of the week. This one is James 5, verse 16. Therefore, confess your sins to each other and pray for each other so that you may be healed. The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. That is actually the daily verse of today. And when I tell you, like, I feel like a lot of times in my own walk with Christ, I really can underestimate the power of prayer and the power of putting out in the open what I deal with, what I struggle with, if I did something, wrong. The power of confession and the power of prayer is beyond like comprehensible. That's why I feel like I can underestimate it so easily because I don't fully understand or sometimes forget, excuse me. I sometimes forget how powerful prayer is. Like seriously. Everybody knows like that one prayer. It can be like if you're trying to like decide with something like, Lord, if it's not for me, take it out of my life. And then when he takes it out of your life, you like, man, come on, like you had to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like prayer is so real. When you ask God, when you ask Him, when you tell Him what you need, God will provide. It may not be in your time, but it's gonna be in His time, most definitely. So yeah, we're about to jump into the questions real quick, and we'll see how it goes. I feel like I got a lot of good stuff though. I ain't even gonna cap. I got a lot of good stuff. So, question one. I'm not gonna do no names. I'm just going, look at the questions. Uh, Biggest strength and weakness. Did it change once you graduated college? My biggest strength was definitely my kindness and my heart, because it kind of goes hand in hand. I do think my biggest strength is my ability to forgive, because I'm not perfect myself, and I always appreciate when someone can forgive me for any ill or wrong I did to them, and it's not even just because to be like Christ, we need to forgive and learn, and not just forgive, learn to forgive and let go. Because just saying, I forgive you, you can still hold on to that. It's learning to let go, which is like the real challenge. So I would say like my heart, just like my forgiveness, my kindness. My biggest weakness, it would definitely have to be sometimes my impatience. Like, I don't know if it's a biggest weakness, but sometimes I can just feel like things need to happen like right now. Uh, and then they don't. Like, or if I jump too fast, it just doesn't work out for me. So that's one of my weaknesses. Like I have other things. Like sometimes I think too far ahead, and it's different stuff. Like it's different things that go into it. Like I would have to do like a real deep dive. I just don't know if I have enough time for that. Um, we now have best advice for a new Christian. Um, I want to be generic and say read your Bible, but that's not really generic when it's the truth. Uh, Best advice most definitely would be to figure out why you chose to follow God. Figure out your why, because in the times when you start to doubt following God, you're going to remember that why, and it's going to encourage you even more to follow through. Uh, That's probably would be a 1 point of advice. Second best advice is to try to find at least two people who believe in Christ the same as you. I'm not saying like, oh, you gotta go out there and find a pastor and be friends with them. Like, just find two people who want to follow Christ, because nobody's perfect. Like, don't look for someone who sets like the 100% perfect example, because that's not possible. Find two people who believe in Christ and hang out with them, talk to them, encourage dialogue about faith, about living correct, about serving God. Find anything you can to continue the conversation of expanding upon your newfound religion, your newfound cause, your newfound purpose. So I would say my best advice would be to find two people, as well as also know your why for following Christ. Because the church, the outreach, the discipleship, all that comes in time. But if you don't have that community and if you don't have that why, it's going to be hard to keep going later on in life. Next question is opinion on introverted people. I have a lot of introverted people that I know, and I have a lot of introverted people that are my friends. So you have to really, you have to really understand that they are not going to be the same outside expressionable. If that word is expressionable a word, but they're not going to have that same outside presence as you if you are an extrovert, or kind of like in the middle where it's like some things you're introverted about, but you're mostly extroverted, whatever. They're not going to have the same like response. Like if you're over here, let's say like a new song come out and you're like, yo, this is crazy, this is crazy, this is crazy. And it's like, they're like, yeah, it's pretty good. But you're over here like enthusiastic. You're turned like, bro, this so like this a banger, and they be like, yeah, it's pretty good. Like that calm, mellow. You're like, you don't even care for it when that's not the truth. It's just that outward expression. It's not there. Like I think if you understand that introverted people have the same emotions, sometimes the same thoughts, the same motives, the same love for the things you like. They just don't outwardly express it. And then another thing too, not all introverted people are like, cave people. And I mean, cave people, what is it? Turtles? Yeah, turtles. Like, just because they want to be inside doesn't mean they don't go outside. Like, they just prefer to be inside. Introverted people have company in themselves. Like, they want and they're for outside connections. But if they only have 2 or 3 friends, a lot of introverted people can live their life with 2 or 3 friends. Like, they don't need everybody in the world hanging out with them. So I would say that you need to come to understand, if you have introverted friends or introverted, or like if someone you're interested in, like in a romantic sense, is introverted, be able to understand and learn that how they express themselves, it's not that something is not reciprocated. It just might not be reciprocated the way you want it to be reciprocated. Like how some people in different romantic relationships, they want somebody all over them, but they're interested in someone who's kind of reserved. They don't really do physical contact. Okay, is that going to be a deal breaker for you? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to understand the people you're around, because when you respect them, some introverted people are honestly willing to open up and kind of like be more interactive with people who respect how they are. And it's like, okay, if they respect me, then I can show a little bit more for them. Like, I think that's just how it is. This comes from, okay, it's right here. What's your thoughts on the attention span of the world these days, i.e. YouTube Shorts, Facebook, TikTok, etc.? I am definitely a victim of the lowered attention span, and I would say from late millennials to like almost entirely Gen Z, almost, and a little bit of like the younger children. I can really spend about 30 minutes on, whatever app I'm on, whatever game I'm on, whatever TV show I'm watching. I can spend about 30 minutes, and even if it's something I really enjoy, I can still become bored. Now, when it comes to outside the screen, I am a little bit different. I really enjoy watching like nature and like listening to nature. So sometimes I will sit outside and just flat out just listen to the things around me. But when I get really into my phone and really into my devices, I can probably stand outside for like 3 minutes. And I'm just like, bro, what is this? Like, it's like I used to be able to go outside for hours. And now it's like I'm out there for 10 minutes. Okay, this is cool. I'm finna go back inside. Like, and then when it comes to listening to somebody speak, I am very adamant on being present. So I don't really have an issue of focusing when somebody's talking or paying attention and setting things aside. But even like in church and things like that, like if I get the slightest bit bored after a couple minutes, I'm on my phone. Even if it's just to look at the weather app, like just to give myself, I don't know, like a jump start or like a spark instead of just trying to focus on what's in front of me. I think it's even worse with younger children because they cannot last less than 10 minutes without their screen. And I see it in so many different situations. Like when I've worked with kids in the past, like if they're not doing something physically to move their body, not just being a kid, but if they're not doing something to physically move or stimulate their body, they are going to get bored so fast and ask you, what can I do? Can I play on your phone? Whatever. It is so real how we cannot live off of our devices. Like I like to take breaks from social media because I can't really take a break from my phone because my family be calling me. But it's like if I could, oh, like I'm off. Like I'm off my phone for like at least 3 days. Like if I really could do that, I'm off my phone for at least 3 days. Uh, One thing that does keep me there is if there's an emergency, like if there's an emergency with like the closer people in my circle, I'm gonna feel bad if I'm not there to answer the call. You know what I'm saying? Even though I can't control that, that's just how I think. Like, dang, I might miss something if somebody calls me. That's why I don't turn off my phone, but I do take a break from like social media and stuff. But yeah, if my thoughts is I'm going to raise my kids whenever they come to, they're gonna have access to electronics and devices, yes, but I'm going to raise my kids up to not be reliant on it. Like I don't want my phone or whatever tablet is around at that time to be the babysitter. Like I would rather me babysit or hire someone I respect and trust to watch my kid and keep them entertained. Like the device is not going to be the main focus. Like I just don't want to raise my kids to be reliant on it because I wasn't raised that way. I love my video games, but besides that, like I'm not. My parents didn't raise me to be so hooked to where I can't leave my phone alone. Next question is that was a really good question. Next question is where you think you are in your healing journey, and in a sense, like how have I developed when it comes to like processing things or just being able to like being able to process things and to understand how I feel when things happen to me or whatever. Um, I've gotten a lot better. I can really pinpoint when something is going to be detrimental to me or when it's going to be beneficial for me. I have definitely been a recipient of pain in the past. Um, when it comes to being let down by whether it was like a family member or something like that. Like, and to any of my family listening, no, I don't know what you did. I'm just saying, like, I probably have experienced it before, like just pain from family. I've definitely experienced like a lot of like romantic pain. Uh, it's and it kind of goes back to my weakness when it comes to jumping out too soon, being impatient. Because I know for a fact I'm a lover boy. Like I'm definitely the type to, if you text me like, oh, I'm not having a good day, within 48 hours I'm going to either be by your side or communicate with you where it feels like I'm right there with you. Like I'm very receptive to the emotions of whoever I'm, romantically involved with, and I want to make sure you're straight, like regardless. But through that, I've experienced a lot of pain when it comes to like I've been ghosted like more times than I like to say. I haven't been taken serious, and it all came with maturity. Like I'm not saying the whole time, I was this this bachelor where it's like, oh, I got everything under control. It's just you. Like, I'm not doing nothing wrong. That's not the case. I'm just saying when I have gotten really close with a young lady, it usually just hasn't turned out good in different ways. And even I myself, because, like I said, I'm being honest, even I haven't been the best. Like, I've given others like emotional pain. Like, I'm not saying I'm the only one that gets hurt, but when it comes to how I process stuff now, it's a lot more different because I'm more uh, in tune with when I know I'm going too far, or when I know something is going too far and I can get hurt by it. So like I really try to like catch it before it happens. And a lot of time I don't try to overthink, because when I overthink, my pain, whatever the cause of it, can be like amplified, like so much more. So it just comes with maturity. I think I'm not amazing at it, but I am definitely better than I was like in the last like 3-4 years, and that's just because I just been through a lot of different things. And it's really changed the way I think. Got another thing is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? So right now, in 5 years, I will be working a job. I will also be, hopefully, I would like to be either looking towards marriage or in a very serious relationship that could lead into marriage. Because I want to get married before 30. So I just don't want to be that parent when my kids growing up where I can't keep up with them. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely want to get married before 30 just to be able to experience life with my kids. So hopefully I am in a serious relationship at that point in time. Um, and living out God's purpose for me. So yeah, uh, getting money in a relationship as well as living out God's purpose. Like, seriously. Another question. I ain't gonna lie. The person who sent these questions in went crazy. But I'm saying, what piece of advice would you tell yourself 5 years ago? Okay, 5 years ago, I would tell Mason, do not worry about women. Do not worry about these girls, because I can tell you right now, a lot of them are going to hurt. Like, just literally don't even worry about it. Now, I do feel like a lot of the hurt I experienced and a lot of the mistakes I made when it came to women formed me into the man I am now. I'm just saying, I would tell myself to stay away from specific women like that. Literally brought me there was no character development at all during those period of times. That's what I would tell myself. Stay away from the women or specific ones. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go through some stuff to know what you want and know what you like. You know what I'm saying? Know what you don't like. But I would tell myself, hey, stay away from her. Her. You can be cool with her, but don't go further with her. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would tell myself. Uh, do you regret anything? No, I do not. I wish things were different in some cases, but I do not regret anything because you can't change anything that already happened. The next question is, do you think you should have done anything different? Yeah. I've when it comes to any mistakes I've made, I try to see them as lessons. I'm not gonna get up here and air my dirty laundry out, but there's definitely some stuff in my past where it's like, dang, you really could have done that a lot better. And I even lost friendships because of it, or like because of whatever mistake I made at that time. Like, I've lost friendships because of mistakes. I've lost opportunities because of mistakes. And I'm not gonna get into that, but it's I've definitely experienced the pain and real like crushing defeat. Like, dang, if I had just stopped myself, if I had just said something different, if I had just whatever, it has definitely made me into who I am today. Biggest lesson you've learned this year: appreciate everything. Cause like I mentioned in the first episode, I graduated college in 2 years. So I had to, like, my senior year, I was like, okay, um, I'm done. Like, it was so surreal. Like, especially my last like week at school, I was like, I'm leaving. Like, I'm done. And I would say just appreciate everything, like everything. A friend, like friends, opportunities, like whatever. Appreciate everything. Um, Next question is new perspectives. New perspectives on the world since you graduated. I don't really have any because I experienced what a small a small glimpse of what the world is like while being in college, because I didn't just stay, inside the bubble of campus. Like, when I was in college, I just did a lot of exploring, especially with interacting with newer people, going to different, situations, exploring more cities. Like, I don't think I have a new perspectives on the world. If I did have one, it will probably be that not everybody is on the same path. That's what I would say. Not everybody's on the same path. Um, this is great. I actually love this question. What is the best advice you've ever received and the best advice you've ever given? Okay, so boom. The best advice I've ever received ever was from my father. He said, it's not about the mistake you made. It's about how you respond to it, how people will see you for the rest of your life. And at that point in time, I had made like a really bad mistake and I was just crushed. I was down terrible. I'm in the crib, like, bro, like my life, like my life is over. Like, when you make a mistake that bad, it's like, yo, I can't come back from this. And my dad was like, it's literally about how you respond, how people will see you for the rest of your life. Like, if you act guilty, even if you're the one that did it, if you act guilty, if you act shy, if you run away, people are going to see that image of you when you make a mistake, and they're going to be like, yeah, Mason, he not going whatever. Like, he not going to stand up for what he did. And the mistake I made, if anybody asked me about it, yeah, I told them. Obviously, yeah, that was me. I messed up. I can't change what I did. I'm learning from it. I'm growing from it. It sucks that it happened, especially coming from me. But I owned up to it every time I was asked about it, because you can't run away from it, because then it puts you in like a cloud of shame, judgment from other people. Like, it's not about the mistake you made. It's about how you respond to it, how people will see you for the rest of your life. So that's the best advice I've ever received. The best advice I've ever given is nobody is going to do for you what you can. And like, what I mean by that is nobody is, besides Big Bro upstairs, shout out God, but I'm saying no one's getting you out your bed. Nobody's brushing your teeth. Nobody is making you eat. Nobody is telling you to get up and go to work if you have a job. Nobody is telling you to not speak when you don't want to speak. Like, you are in control of you. Your biggest enemy is yourself. That's the best advice I've ever given to anybody. Your biggest enemy is yourself. When you say you can't do something, or when you feel like you can't, there's only one person stopping you, and that's you. That's why I don't believe in peer pressure. I believe people can be encouraged to do something, but I don't believe in peer pressure, because at the end of the day, you are the one moving your body. Now, it's different if it is by force. But that's a whole different conversation. But when it comes to anything you do, you are the one in control. Nobody made you do anything unless it was forceful, by gunpoint, whatever. When you make a simple decision, there is nobody else doing it but you. Your biggest enemy is yourself. So that's the best piece of advice I've ever given. I remember when I said it, I think I had got bits and pieces of it from somewhere and put my spin on it. But I remember when I said it, I was like, okay, we doing something. You feel me? Next question is, how do you stay motivated through life in general, even when you're not feeling it? okay, wow, that's actually crazy because I am having a really bad last couple days. Okay. I didn't even think that would. That's so crazy how I decided to record today, and I actually didn't even want to record today. So, how you stay motivated through life in general when you're not feeling it? Um, this is coming from a pure example because currently I'm not feeling life, but uh, definitely my faith. I actually before I started recording, I was on a phone call with one of the big bros, and he just started praying for me because he was like, "Hey man, what's up?" Like, because I wasn't, I was saying, he was telling me about stuff to pop out of it, and I was like, "Nah, I ain't trying, I ain't even trying to go and stuff like that." I just been having like a real bad 48. You feel me? And he just like completely was like, "Okay, what we praying right now?" Like he like there was no like he asked me what was going on. And I kind of told him, but he's like, "Okay, we're gonna pray right now. Give me everything that you need prayer for right now, and we're gonna go." And so I said encouragement. I said peace. I said patience, and he just started praying and just praying and praying and praying, and it kind of, even though it didn't fully lift my spirit, it really did because it was like my faith, like God is there. He is hearing me, whenever I'm struggling, whatever. And so I would say my faith, in a more practical, or I guess worldly sense. I think about everything that I want to get done and how it's not going to get done if I don't get it done. Like the whole yourself is your biggest enemy. I say motivated because I know for a fact that the things I want to get done, they can only get done by me. Like no one else. I can't tell somebody else, "Hey, go do this for me for like the next 20, 30 years." Like, no, it has to be me. So I just think about everything I want to get done and also how much people have gotten me to the point I am now. Because you can't get nowhere without help. Like, everybody who's trying to do it on their own, get out the mud, that's cool. But you had help at some point in time to get where you are. Like, whatever it is. So that's how I say motivate. My faith, as well as thinking about everything I'm working towards and how there's a lot that people have poured into me, and I don't want to let it go to waste. Next question is, what is your greatest fear in life? I do not have one. That's literally it. I don't have one. Um, we have next question is, how do you manage to stay positive in the midst of adversity? It kind of goes back to the question before the greatest fear one is think about how far you've come. Like you've come far. Why give up now? Like simple and point. Why give up now? Um Next question is, who plus what motivates you? Um a lot of people motivate me. Um my parents, it's crazy. Like who or what motivates me? It's really, I actually have never really thought about it. Like I have people that I'm wow, okay. Who or what motivates you? I would definitely say my parents. Uh, yeah, I have to say my parents. Like my parents really they motivate me. What that motivates me is definitely the want to serve God in anything I do, and to really just do everything I can to serve His purpose. Like that's what. And then obviously a couple choice people outside of my family, um, like real close to me. Like I'm like, yeah, I gotta go hard for them. What are your greatest accomplishments? Graduating at 20. That is one of my greatest accomplishments. Is graduating college with a 4-year degree at 20 years old. Um, the experience is unreal, and I mean I got a lot of looks when I was uh like towards like the end of senior year. Some people was like, "Hey, like where you been like the last 3 years?" I'm like, "Oh no, I just got here." Like it was different stuff. Like people couldn't believe I was there. It was just the astonishment when people ask me, "Oh well, how old are you?" Like, "Oh, I'm 20," and they're like, "What?" Like I'm 20. And if I was born before the school year started, I would be 19 graduating. Like I had to, explain to people like everything I did. Because if anybody doesn't know, I was homeschooled my whole life, and when I was 16, there was a program for homeschoolers down the street. Oh, down the highway. You know how black people be down the street, really like 15 minutes away. But down the highway there was a program for homeschoolers, and we got to go and literally do college classes. Like I was taking college classes when I was 16, and I was, because everybody thought I was doing early college, middle college. No, I was just straight up taking college classes. Like I was in classrooms with people getting their, their certifications, or I was in, classes with CNAs, or, I was in classes with like full grown adults or regular people going to the community college. Like I was not around no kids. Like my first class with like people who actually met my age at the community college in the early college program. Like I had maybe like one or two classes, and it was like Spanish, biology. Well, I had it. My friend Erica, me and her were in an intro to music class, and that joint was like really good. Or was it No, it was intro to jazz. That's what it was. It was intro to jazz, and it was this white guy, and he was like, when I tell you he knew jazz front to back. Like he was showing us something I never even knew about. But yeah, I was literally just with a whole bunch of adults for the most part, taking college classes and going home. And then when I got to Winston in 2021, I pretty much trailblazed it. I did my first year taking, well, my advisor, she was low key playing with me. Shout out my advisor, but she was low. I kept telling her like, yo, I can take 18 credits, but she had me on 15 for my first semester. I was okay, whatever. And then I took 18 my second semester and I killed it. And she was like, oh, well, I had no idea. It's like, okay, cool. But I told you I could do this. But yeah, so I did 33 credits my first year after bringing in, I think it was like 60, 62 or something. It was something around that number. So I already had 95 credits my first year. And then I did summer school, and I took I think it was 9 credits in summer school, or maybe it was 6, or it might have been somewhere around there. But so then I had literally, if I'm not mistaken, I think I had 19 left. Had 19 credits left after being at school for less than a year. Like when you think about calendar year, like I was in school from August, and then before next August rolled around, I had less than 20 credits to graduate. And then I took, I think I took like 15 or something like that, fall semester of 22. And then 23, I took up just a bunch of like other random like classes, so I wouldn't like, have to stay off campus, because you need 12 to live on campus. So I took like a whole bunch of different classes besides my 2 major classes I needed, to get that, like the 12 credit, just to be able to live on campus, keep scholarships, whatever. And then, yeah, I graduated May 12th, 2023, in and out. And I was, it was crazy, because I was in school for like a year and a half, like for real. But that was one of my biggest accomplishments, is graduating at 20 years old. But that brings us to the end of all the questions. I appreciate everybody who sent a question in. I appreciate everybody who sent multiple questions in. Like seriously, I just love the participation. I appreciate all of it. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Remember to stay smooth, stay encouraged, stay whatever. Yeah, man, just be happy. Because at the end of the day, I remember my last job I worked at, my boss told me that personal happiness is important, and is the most important at any time in your life. So make sure you stay happy.